Today we're going to be talking about alternative investments with Brendan Rempel. This is the broadcast.
Live from San Juan, Puerto Rico. This is the Puerto Rico Business Broadcast. Now, here's your host, Daven Michaels.
Today we're talking about alternative investments. My guest, Brendan Rempel. Brendan, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
Absolutely. And can you share with everyone your Puerto Rico story?
Sure. We had heard about the Act 60 benefits. If you move to the island, you could really do fantastically tax-wise. And we were in a very big space in New Jersey, and we couldn't fill it because of COVID. And one day our landlord was showing somebody else the space, and he was showing what a beautiful build-out he could do. And the gentleman said, "This would be a perfect space for me." And I said, "You can have it." So that was a Friday. We emptied the office on Saturday, sold a few cars on Monday, and I was here on Tuesday.
Wow, that is pretty fast. I thought I was fast. You were really fast. And how long have you been on the island?
Just about 2 years now.
And are you enjoying it?
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, you kind of come for the benefits and fall in love with
That's
everything
what
else.
happened.
Yeah.
We came for the benefits, and we didn't know anybody here. And through meeting people like yourself, we're meeting some fantastic relationships.
Yeah.
And now I don't want to go back.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Matter of fact, you just flew in this morning.
Absolutely.
So what's your background, Brendan?
So I've been in finance for just over 30 years. I'm not trying to date myself. But over 30 years now.
Yeah.
And I built a small boutique investment bank on Wall Street with a few partners, and we had a great run there for about 10 or 12 years. And then we started to just make direct investments ourselves and really moved out of that space and more into merchant banking. And slowly but surely we got involved with alternative investments, which we just found more interesting. They weren't Me Too type products.
Yeah.
And we weren't trying to compete with the larger bulge bracket firms and bring people Me Too type things. So we slowly but surely developed a process where we seek out opportunities that may not be mainstream, but really exciting and usually outperform the markets.
Yeah, and whenever I think about alternative investments, I sort of think, not real estate. Typically, I guess sometimes they can be real estate related, but not your typical mutual fund, this, that. Is there any more definition to alternative investments than I'm thinking of?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. It's not your traditional investment that's
Right.
getting knocked on your door by everybody else that's out there. But
Yeah.
we're looking, it may be in those fields, but it may be a different approach.
Right.
It may be a specific bridge loan on a real estate deal that
Right.
might have a higher yield with a lot of collateral.
Right.
It may be an SPV into a real estate development. It may be a biotech company that needs financing really bad, really fast, but they have a great opportunity in front of them. So we'll come in there and we'll be a special partner.
Yeah, exactly. So usually it's higher yields or different safety attributes, or sometimes it's just stuff that's out of the box. People want to use it to round out
Absolutely.
a portfolio, so they're not.
Yeah, we're not there to be the provider of total portfolio
Sure.
analysis. We're there to bring you a niche for a certain portion of your portfolio.
Yeah, help you hedge. Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to have you on the show because you're really doing some unique. You have some unique projects, and I wanted to spotlight some of those projects. So one of them is in biotech. You want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, we've been involved with a biotech company for about 6 years now. It's doing some amazing things. It's called CellSource. It's a publicly traded company.
What's the symbol on that?
It's CLCS, and they are doing some amazing things. The chief scientific officer there is a Dr. Yair Reisner. He's one of the foremost immunologists in the world. He's the first person to ever do a mismatched bone marrow transplant.
Right, that's huge.
He's, if you remember The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, the movie with John Travolta, that boy was suffering from something called SCID. He cured that disease.
He cured that. I heard about that.
Loaned to Sloan Kettering. So we're doing right now, we're in partnership with MD Anderson, and they're doing clinical studies, and we're doing mismatched bone marrow transplants. But we're not giving anybody any immunosuppression, and we're also preventing graft versus host disease.
And so on the immunosuppression, anybody that has a organ transplant these days ends up being on immunosuppression therapy for life.
Yeah.
Right?
Normally. If you want bone marrow transplants now aren't the first line of defense for a lot of diseases because they're not always effective and there could be more risk than reward.
Gotcha.
Okay. First of all, you have to have a match.
Right.
Okay, so that's the first detractor. Then you have to basically do immunosuppression, which is destroying the patient's immune system so that it doesn't reject the transplant.
Wow.
Then you have to worry about the transplant rejecting the patient, which is called graft versus host disease. And then lastly, if that all goes well, because there's no immune system that's really to protect them,
They can get
there's
sick.
diseases that are out there that we protect them from. So we now can do it without a match. We don't use immunosuppression, so you're not on anti-rejection medication for the rest of your life. We are the only company that I'm aware of that prevents graft versus host disease. There's many companies out there that have developed products to treat it, but we're the only one I know that prevents it. And we also prevent these post-procedural viruses. So our clinical trials are doing fantastic. As I said, we're doing at MD Anderson, which is one of the best cancer research facilities in the world. It's being done at their bone marrow transplant facility. So we've got the brightest people. We're in the right place. We're moving towards other FDA trials. We're going to be going into organ, specifically kidney transplants, mismatched kidney transplants.
Wow.
There's 90,000 people on a organ transplant waiting list in the United States alone.
Yeah, I know a lot about this. Actually, my dear cousin, he needed a kidney. It's kidney that you have two kidneys, you can give up one.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So he needed a kidney, and so his wife gave up her kidney. Of course, they didn't match, but now there's a whole network of trades, if you will. And so now what was great too is she gave up there's live kidney and there's dead kidneys. Yeah. Like if somebody dies in a car accident, and they donate a body part. And so obviously she had a live kidney, so she donated that, and then it went through 18 different transactions, but he got his kidney, which was fantastic. But now this wouldn't be necessary, in theory.
As I said, there's 90,000 people in his position.
Yeah.
Trying to get an organ that they match with.
Right.
5,000 to 6,000 people die a year because they can't find a match. I don't know if we're going to solve the whole problem, but we're going to work towards it.
That's pretty cool.
We anticipate having a lot of success, and we're going to go into human trials in the very near future on that. And there's another area that I won't get too deep into, but it's an area called CAR T. And CAR T is probably the biggest thing that hits biotech in the last 7 years or so. And it stands for chimeric antigen receptor T cell. And basically what that is when someone is diagnosed with a blood disease or blood cancer, the physicians will take a very specific T cell from out of the patient. They'll send it to a lab. They'll genetically modify it to teach it how to kill cancer, basically. They'll bring it back and put it back into the patient. It's doing great. There's 2 or 3 approved, FDA-approved CAR Ts out there. But the holy grail, what they're all searching for, is the ability to have an off-the-shelf product, almost like a blood bank. So if someone is diagnosed, they grab a bag, immediately put it into the system and start to kill cancer, and they don't have to wait for this not scalable process. So we're working on that. We're working on allogeneic CAR T is what it's called, and we expect to be in human trials on that this year as well, in 24 as well. So in the near future, we'll have 3 products in clinical trials in humans, and with some really great partners, and we're excited, really excited.
That is really exciting. Very cool. So that's biotech. That's an example of...
It's just one biotech we're involved with, but
one
it's
of
really
your
exciting.
Alternative investments. Yeah, absolutely. So when we come back, we'll talk about more alternative investments with my guest, Brendan Rempel. Don't go away. I don't know about you, but as a small business owner, I'm super picky about who's going to be keeping track of my money. A good accountant is an asset to your business, but a great accountant is worth their weight in gold. A good accountant does your books and taxes. A great accountant becomes a trusted partner in your business. So what's important? Knowledge, expertise, communication, speed, and accessibility. If I can text or call my accountant when I need him, and he either picks up my call or texts me right back, that is gold. And that's what I get with Louis Lamba at HLB Puerto Rico. I can always reach Louis when I need him, and that is gold. If I have a problem, challenge, or question, Louis has a solution. And if I need more resources, I can plug into the HLB network of over 400 independent firms worldwide. I don't mind saying it. In my opinion, Louis Lamba is the best accountant on the island. If you want to work with someone that you can communicate with easily, that understands your needs and works like a partner in your business, call or text Louis Lamba now at 787-646-1710
or visit hlbpr.com, mention the broadcast, and get a free consultation and save 10%. HLB Puerto Rico, committed to your success. Investing and philanthropy, two things that are very close to my heart. You know, they seem worlds apart, right? But imagine this. What if you could blend them seamlessly into one? Well, guess what? You can with Philanthro Investors. They're not just merging the worlds of giving and investing, they're pioneers linking passionate philanthropists and socially responsible investors with game-changing enterprises. How awesome is that? Doing good while doing well for others. Ready to learn more? Head over to philanthroinvestors.com or call 727-337-7729. Mention the broadcast to receive their special white glove service only available to our listeners. Philanthro Investors, shaping a better world one investment at a time.
And we're back with my guest, Brendan Rempel. We're talking about alternative investments. And Brendan, you're launching an advisory service here on the island, correct?
Yeah, not just on the island, but the idea came while I was on the island. You know, I was meeting so many interesting people, other Act 60 folks like myself from all over the mainland. And they're in different fields than I am. And we're talking about deal flow together, and we're talking about opportunities and creating opportunities. So myself and a few colleagues decided to put together a advisory firm, and we're going to start to a little bit different than a typical advisory firm. It's almost like a virtual advisory firm where we're bringing in partners from all over the U.S. and all over the world who have a special expertise, and they can bring deal flow because of their, you know, we're not young kids, right? There's all people with a little bit of gray hair, but have been around, who have relationships, who know how to provide a service and actually can execute. And we're pulling us all together in a structure where we can really help a lot of companies, public or private, whether that be in just strategy, whether that be in, you know, finding their blind spots, whether that be in, you know, certain software, they need software reviewed and implemented, we can bring in people for that. Whether it's capital introductions, we don't raise capital, we're not an investment bank, but we do have a lot of relationships, you know, with investment banks, family offices, and funds. This is the world we've lived in and swam through for years. So if someone comes in and doesn't know that process, how to present, even that, we have people that'll teach a CEO how to present properly his vision. You know, that's not everybody knows how to do that. Not everybody has a natural ability to do that. So we've got people that'll help with just general branding and shareholder, investor awareness or world awareness. We'll create a presence for you on the internet, whether that be through interviews, whether that be through podcasts, whether that be through articles written about it. We have a whole team to do that. And it's really people we've all done business with before, but now we're going to collectively work together to do things together rather than, you know, looking for a partner from time to time. We're going to actually go forward pretty aggressively. So we're really excited about it, and it's ramping up rather quickly.
Now, how will clients be billed for that? Will they be billed based on the different services that they're utilizing, or?
Yeah, it's every project will be different. You know, it's primarily retainer based, but there are success fees based on outcomes, and but it's not an hourly type thing.
Sure. Okay, and let's talk a little bit about pre-IPO and secondary markets.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We've been in that business since 2013.
Yeah.
You know, and for those who don't know what pre-IPO secondary market is, it's getting involved with companies that before they go public, and we're not buying it from the company directly. We're buying it from an original shareholder or another shareholder. So what happened was we got excited about you know, Twitter and Facebook at that time, and we really didn't have any access from the investment banks because we weren't a big enough fund at the time to get into, or even those firms, the Ubers, the Lyfts, the Palantirs, the Spotifys. We weren't invited to their primary rounds. So our team got on the phone and started knocking on doors, from consultants to accountants to lawyers to former employees, and the word got out. And what we would do is slowly but surely, let's say you write code and you make $150,000 a year and you live in California, so you're broke. And and you need some liquidity, but you have $10 million worth of Uber stock when it goes public. Well, maybe you want to sell 1 or 2 or 3 million of that now. We'd buy that from you, and we'd put it into one of our SPVs, but we would do that to 30 people, and we'd keep buying and buying and buying. But then there's the investor side. The investors don't have access to that either. So we would give them the opportunity, usually, oftentimes, at a 25% discount to the last primary round, because obviously we negotiated with the seller. So we were providing liquidity for people who needed it, and we were providing access for people who needed it, and it was it was a great business.
Did that go pretty well?
Yeah, we actually did very well. We were involved with the Ubers and the Lyfts and Spotify, and Palantir was a major success, and we have now even Triller and SpaceX. We're not doing as much of that now. Valuations started to get, a little loopy, but we still always look for the right price. We just were offered a few really exciting deals recently, so we're exploring those too.
That's cool. What kind of deals are you looking at right now?
I don't want to discuss
You can't
them
speak
right
to that.
now.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Awesome. So let's talk about some of the other projects that you guys are involved in. Some of the other alternative deals. Let's see. I know that there's a credit fund, correct?
Absolutely,
Let's
really
talk about
exciting.
that. Yeah.
It's under our new brand.
Uh-huh.
That's under a brand called Alt Vault Funds. So I was fortunate to meet, and he came to visit me here in Puerto Rico, the CEO of one of the largest merchant cash advance lending companies. They've got a great business. They do incredible underwriting. They're very transparent. They've been around for a long time. And I started to learn about this space, and it's really a high yield space.
It is, yeah.
And the way they operate, they really protect themselves. They have a very low default rate, somewhere in the 5 or 7% default rate, and default's not the same as a mortgage default because they usually try to modify on the fly, so they don't have to go default.
Sure.
But between the yields that we're going to be able to provide, high teen yields to our investors. Most of that's collateralized, and with a ton of transparency.
Collateralized by receipts.
Collateralized by receipts and further collateral. That's,
Okay.
More could be hard assets.
Okay.
So, because the world, you need the revenue's there, but you need to have more protection.
Sure.
And in this environment especially.
Yeah.
But these guys are great. They monitor through AI. They monitor the borrowers constantly. They're seeing if there's changes in their bank accounts, if there's changes in their credit score, if there's what's constantly, and if there is, they reach out immediately and see what they can do to make an adjustment to help them because they know they're going to have a problem. So I love that they're ahead of everything. We're going to become a syndicate member of that firm, and we're going to be providing capital that they can put out, and they put out $50 million a week in new money out to merchant cash advances, and through that also. So that'll be a specific fund, and that'll be backed all by merchant cash advances. That'll be very transparent. And the other last thing I want to say is what I like about it is that the liquidity. It's very short duration, usually 9 months, 12 months, but the payments start coming back usually within a week. So you put your money out, you start to see it come back, and in this environment, we really like that. A byproduct of that is, I'm not sure you're familiar with the economic retention credits that are out there.
ERC, yeah.
So a lot of folks have applied for those because of COVID, right? That's basically a grant from the government of up to $26,000 per employee that you kept on a W-2
During COVID.
During COVID.
Yeah.
So folks started to apply for those, and let's say, for example, that you applied for that and you got a $2 million grant, and you need it. It might take 8 to 9 months before you actually receive it from the IRS.
Right.
So we're able to lend to those people that are due the grant. But what we've done is through this company is we're one of 7 or 8 people in the country that have a black box scenario or a lockbox, scenario with the IRS. So we can lend to the borrower, and then the IRS pays us.
Right.
So it's a really solid, lending scenario.
Right.
And the rates are, quite strong. And I feel it's pretty, pretty. I don't want to use the word riskless, but less risk than usual.
Pretty low risk.
We're doing as much of that as we can in the very near future. That's not going to be around forever because these ERC loans aren't going to be available to people. But while they are, and people want capital now, we're able to provide it to them sooner than later. So
yeah. Now, I think the government announced several months ago that they've kind of put a moratorium on processing new deals.
I think it starts up again in January, but there's
really?
plenty out there. I mean, I know
Gotcha.
we did somewhere around
there's
$12 million last week.
Right.
In new ERC.
Yeah, there's tons that has been written and not paid by the IRS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a big market.
It is.
It's very cool. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more with Brendan Rempel. Don't go away.
If you're looking for an event space, a wedding venue, or a gorgeous getaway, let me introduce you to the Aqua Marina Beach Club, a no-kids beach club oasis in Rincon. This gorgeous property includes a boutique hotel with 15 beautiful guest rooms, rooftop lounge, 360 view, swim-up pool bar, event spaces, coffee shop and gelateria, and a stellar restaurant. All just a few steps from the beach. I love this place. I've thrown parties and networking mixers at their pool bar, great cocktails, beautiful ambiance. I've booked rooms in the hotel for several relaxing staycations. To learn more, you can visit aquamarinabeachclub.com or call 787-823-2593 to book a stay. And don't forget to mention the broadcast to grab an exclusive 20% discount. Aqua Marina Beach Club in Rincon. I'd like to share a very cool opportunity with you. Now, do keep in mind this isn't investment advice. You should always consult a professional before investing. I want to tell you about Mondax Group. Mondax provides alternative asset management and retirement solutions. Mondax takes a very patient and rigorous approach to investing, and their mission is to deliver predictable cash flows to their clients backed by strong, high-growth businesses that they invest in. Their private offering, the Axel Fund, is for reserved accredited investors only and pays out a whopping 16% dividend distributed monthly. The fund's underlying assets are independent trucking businesses contracted across the U.S. with a Fortune 50 company. So if you're interested in learning how you, as an accredited investor, can earn 16% potentially tax-free, give Jason Schur a call at 609-937-8064. He'd love to schedule a complimentary face-to-face lunch to show you all the details. For more info, you can visit mondaxgroup.com/Axel-Fund.
And we're back. We're talking about alternative investments. Our guest, Brendan Rempel. Brendan, things have definitely changed quite a bit on the business front over the last 12 months, right? Things have gotten a heck of a lot tighter. I know everybody and their brother on this island is raising capital because there's so many awesome things going on right now in Puerto Rico, right? It's just Puerto Rico's booming, and a lot of the world doesn't know that. But let's talk for a few minutes to founders, to groups that want to raise capital. What are some of the best practices right now for raising capital?
Well, most importantly, you've got to be with people that you're comfortable with and trust, because there's a lot of people out there that are time wasters.
Right, that's for sure.
And fee gatherers.
Yeah. So how do you screen that? How do you know who's wasting your time and who's legit, serious, has the money?
I mean, I think it's part of the real. I mean, first of all, validate that. Validate they have the money.
How do you validate it? Proof of funds? Okay.
Proof of funds. And I've been a victim in the past.
Yeah, we all have probably.
I'm extra cautious when I work with people I'm not familiar with.
Sure.
But what we do is, especially with our advisory clients, is, and most companies, no matter what their issue is, they're always going to also need money too.
Yeah.
That happens. So, we really try to position them and package them and put their information together in a way that Wall Street or the finance industry wants to see it. Mm-hmm. Don't make it difficult for them to understand your business. Right.
It has to be able to be articulated in a couple of sentences.
Elevator version. Right?
Elevator pitch, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's number one. Number two is also, fish in the right pond.
Sure.
You don't want to be knocking on the doors of the wrong folks. That's why we spend a lot of time and a lot of energy, constantly keeping our database up to date. We're talking to family offices regularly, most times not even calling them with an idea. It's more or less calling them with, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Because we don't want to bring somebody a blue suit when they're looking for a gray suit.
Right.
So we spend a lot of time doing that. And there is opportunity to raise capital. There's always some capital out there. There's a lot of high net worth people out there that don't get exposed to great opportunities because They just don't. Most of it goes to institutions.
Yeah,
So
right.
I mean, I've seen some great deals lately that we're really excited about. Software as a service business. We've seen. We were heavily involved in the in hemp when it was when the time was right. We did very well in that. We were involved with infrastructure. There's real estate opportunities. People, there's a lot of opportunity out there. There's ways to raise capital. But you have to be with the right people. I mean, there's so many people that will waste your time, and that's one of the assets that we just can't, we can't waste, right? We don't have any more time.
Time is finite.
Absolutely.
So let's say somebody's raising $5 million. Now, I know, of course, it matters, what they're raising the $5 million for,
Sure.
right? What industries and what the timelines are and so on and so forth. But $5 million, let's say, is what they're ultimately looking for. Would you go fishing in the family office pond, the actual direct investors, or where would you be? Well, let's say you had a $5 million nut that you needed to fill. Like
$5 million in the world of finance is a small number.
It is.
It's not
it
a
is.
small amount of money,
Right,
but
right.
it's a small number
Yeah.
in the world of finance.
Yeah.
Number one.
You wouldn't go
Two
to an
is,
institution for it.
Are you public or are you private? You're probably private.
Private,
Right? And
yeah.
if it's a startup, there are venture capital firms, which they're going to take more than you want to give, but
Right.
that's where the money is for
Right.
those early deals.
That's true.
And obviously if you perform and you put in, performance measures,
Yeah.
you could still do very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
But we see a lot of that type of money coming from a family office because they could write the check,
Right.
or three of them will write a check.
Right.
You don't want to have to go out to 100 individuals. That's
Correct.
not something anybody's interested in.
Right.
And the investment banks won't take it because it's too small and it's
Right.
private. So it's probably VC firms and family offices for something like that.
Okay. And then let's say that they're looking to raise $5 million, but it's an ongoing concern. So they're actually a profitable company. Where would they go fishing? Family offices, of course, could still fill that bill.
I think that's space, and if it's short-term money that they need to do something tomorrow, or they need to do something in a few weeks, they need the money for. You could even look at, there's certain lenders like us, right, the merchant cash advance,
Right.
where it may sound expensive, but it might be worth it to make that acquisition, and then that's going to add a lot more value to you, and then you could get proper financing to take that out. So
Sure.
there's always you just need to be with creative people.
Right.
There's
right.
ways, and people who've been there, who've been in their shoes, who've knocked on a lot of doors and got no's. But we try to alleviate a lot of that. And we put the people in the room with the right people. That's what's important to us. We don't want somebody to leave there and go, that was a waste of my time. We'll never do that. You'll always be in the right room. You'll always be with somebody that's looking for something that this company has. And they may not always invest, but you'll know you were in the right room.
Right. Right.
And that's what we think brings a lot of value.
Excellent. Excellent. What else would you tell people that are looking to raise capital?
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Don't wait till
Right.
you need it.
Until you need it. Right.
Don't wait till you need it.
Yeah.
Always go in advance of that. When you're working in a position of weakness,
Right.
that's when you get taken advantage of.
Right. Now that works in an equity scenario. In a debt scenario, though, it's a balancing act, right? Well, I guess the best thing is maybe get a credit line or what have you,
Right.
so you can draw what you need.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as opposed to having a bunch of money on the books. You used to be able to do that when interest rates were low, but now interest rates are pretty high. So, yeah, probably be something more like that. Okay, cool. And then what are some of the most exciting just in the actual field itself, alternative investments, besides the stuff you guys are doing? Like, what kind of interesting things are you seeing in alternative investments these days?
It's a wide net. There's an alternative in every space.
Yeah.
Right. It's just
Yeah.
a different look or a different angle on it, or a different way to approach something.
Now, of course, if people want alternative investments, they can certainly go to your firm. But
Sure.
where else can they go to find alternative investments?
Well, it's part of networking. Obviously, it's part of relationship building.
Yeah.
But you can go to conferences.
Sure.
You can go. There's web-based sites that
Yeah.
offer different types of transactions. They can knock on the door of their existing financial advisors and make sure that they know they're open to seeing those opportunities, because
Sure.
they sometimes avoid bringing those. But you have to look for them. They're diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, and on the website tip, Invest Puerto Rico has a couple of sites actually too, so you can find stuff for Puerto Rico. Yeah. Well, we're just about out of time. I want to thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. This
has
been great.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
We'll make sure that your contact info is on the site so people can get it. And if you're enjoying the broadcast, make sure to give us a 5-star review and subscribe. And until next time, this is Daven Michaels. Live your true life adventure. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.